Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Khadija Usman. So today we will be talking about mastering the art of selling. And this is particularly for, anybody can, of course, join us here, but for entrepreneurs, for those of you who've been in handling your own business or are in, these fields and are new to it or learning. And we will be joined by Khadija Usman. She's a coach and a certified coach, and she actually has her own business. She's an entrepreneur herself, and she does this globally, actually. So we will be talking to her. She will be explaining to us what this is and how you can, however much explanation she can give to us in the time that we have, and how we can, what really selling is. What does it mean? How is it different from other things that we talk about? Is marketing and selling and PR and all of these terms, are they the same thing? Are they different? Because a lot of the times, if you're new to it, it gets confusing, and not all of us have a business degree, and you don't need one to do this. Not in this a new climate of the global interaction that we have on since the internet, and then social media especially. And that's a good thing, because like I like to say always, and I believe in it thoroughly, that it's the skill that counts. It's always what you have, your creativity, your skills, what you have innately in you. And of course, degrees matter, and definitely learn. And sometimes it's your learning that you find out, through learning that you find out what else you're capable of doing. Or you're going to school or college, university for one thing, and then you're taking other classes along with it. और उससे आपको पता चलता है कि मुझे तो, I'm interested in this as well, और मुझे तो इसका भी interest आ रहा है, इसमें भी interest आ रहा है, right? But when you're actually doing something, when you actually start to work towards something, that's when you hone your skills. Hang on just a second, Miss Khadija. I want to. Just help her navigate through this a little bit. So the skills. Oh, she's here. All right, cool. So let's take this up with the rest of the conversation with her, because she could definitely do a better job at. Okay. Okay.
Wait,
Oh,
just a moment.
yeah, you're on your, on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
Sorry.
you turn your camera on the like other angle. Just turn it over, like
Yeah.
the angle.
Vertical.
Yeah, we need a vertical.
Uh, Actually, this is. I will try to do this.
There you go.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. Mm. Yes. So
There you go.
I'll just try to do it.
Okay, there you go. All good. All right. So, so I did give a very, very brief introduction for you. Can you go ahead and give us a better one?
Yes. I'm Khadija Usman. I'm the founder of Grid Coaches, which is a coaching platform. I'm a master NLP practitioner and ICF PCC trained coach. And these are just the certifications. But when it comes to business, I've been at zero twice and I've taken those businesses up to 1 million twice. So I might know a thing or two when it comes to selling and the art of selling.
Definitely, definitely. And as I said in one of the captions I wrote, that when I moved to Pakistan a few years
Mm.
back and I started up this my business, uh, you were extremely helpful, because when you move to a new place, and no matter how many businesses you've done in different places, or been working in certain fields for so many years, you come to a new place, you feel like you don't know anything, because
Yes.
it's like starting from zero, because you don't have any connections. The style of business har jagah bilkul different hota hai. It's like you don't know anything or anybody, or वही बात होती है कि you need a lot of help. So you were one of those very few people who were actually helpful, and women. मर्द तो फिर भी कर देते हैं, but females helping female, they just have this thing about, but if I give you my contact, then you will get ahead of me somehow. And वो एक fear भी. Women have that. They don't know
Yeah.
what that's about. So that's a great quality that I've noticed in you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that was really helpful, and even to this day, you're one of those people who keep helping and are there for everybody. So we thought that this is an important conversation, and I've seen a lot of young people who are coming out of coming out fresh, or are in that deciding stage where bachelor's हो गया, master's करना है, या bachelor's करके अब क्या करें आगे. So they are confused about how to maneuver these things. Should they go for maybe work? Should they start their business? Should they? So वो सब चीजें, I think this will apply to a lot of it, because when you're talking about, like you said, but talking about selling uh, businesses and whatnot, I feel like selling just doesn't, and I we'll get your opinion on that in a minute, doesn't just apply to selling a brand. You're selling yourself as well, so you have to
Mm.
so you have to keep that in mind as well. So how are you doing that? Are you going to go ahead and just do a business and usme selling ho rahi hai, ya are you selling yourself? And how would you sell yourself to your maybe prospect employer, or whatever future ahead that you feel that you have? So let's just first explain what the art of selling means. Start there.
Yes. Yes. So, thank you, and very rightly said, Mahvish. Like, it is about selling yourself, because if you're in the job industry and you're a professional, you have to build your personal brand. And if you're a service provider, if you're a freelancer, you run a services business, an agency, even, you still have to build your personal brand. You still have to sell yourself. And I could do a whole episode on personal branding, because that's one of the things I offer. So you are a brand the minute you are born, right? So you just have to learn to leverage your strengths, and that is selling yourself. But when it comes to businesses, the art of selling is often confused with the art of marketing. And this is something I wanted to touch upon, because having been having like I have run both service based and product based businesses. And I can safely say that, in either cases, it's the final sale is very different from creating awareness, which is marketing. Like, marketing is just like sowing the seed, but uh, the next step has to be taken where you make the sale. Sales don't just happen by themselves. People think that, we can run ad campaigns and our
Right.
products will start selling. We can, we can just start posting on social media and our products will start selling. That's not how products sell. In
Mhm.
services, do not sell that
Yeah.
way. For services, it's you who has to make that connection. Either you put up videos of yourself, or you're communicating to your audience, engage with them directly. Like if they're leaving comments on your posts, then engage with them. Reach out to them, this cold outreach, like
Mhm.
people who fall into your target audience. So the first step, of course, is identifying your target audience. um and once you're aware of who your target audience really is, you don't just go about, selling your product or pitching your product to them. The first step is, uh, actually, the second step after identifying your target audience is building a relationship with them. How do you build a relationship with them? Do you interact with them, like I said earlier, in the comments? Do you send them messages to ask them? Like, one of the strategies that I teach people is that, um, if you're just starting out, and you're just sending cold emails or cold DMs to people on LinkedIn, on Insta, you can just start by first saying that, I have this certain product and I'm doing a bit of research. That is the best way to get a response out of them. Because when you get a response, the
Mhm.
first step is to get a response out of them. If you don't, you then need to reflect, how can I build that relationship, that connection with that person? Because that connection is very important. That
Mhm.
is the first step.
So
uh,
basically,
that
do a little bit
Yeah.
research on your demographic, on your target audience, so you know how you
Yes.
can connect with them. So when you're speaking to them or sending them emails or LinkedIn message, you can start your conversation in a way that that will appeal to them. So if you know a little bit more, like what you're saying is when you know them a little bit more, it will be easier for you to start the conversation in a way that appeals to them. And like rather than just having
Course.
something that sounds kind of robotic or kind of just like, okay, I'm sending these mass, you're sending out mass, just kind of, removed from personality kind of messages. So if you're, uh, yeah, so if it's a new business and you really are just looking for people to be interested in your work, maybe just like you said, I'm doing this research, and then maybe put something personal about that demographic. So if now, for example, talking about Gen Z, it's a very aware generation, right? It's a very, very, I don't want to say woke because that word's been overused. I'm done with that word. It's a very aware generation of what's happening around us. So if there's a product, it is, eco-friendly and it's, all those things. And if you have that product, you can use the word, I'm researching that product to build something that is good for our country and good for our environment. So if you start with that kind of a, you know, those kinds of wording, that would be attractive, and you don't talk about selling anything in the beginning, just research, and I would like your input, and that would really help me in my project and later on building something for myself and for our country and for you guys. So those kinds of wordings would be helpful in, getting something out of it. And most people, not just Gen Z but everybody, I mean, I would definitely respond if somebody spoke like that with me, somebody, I got a something like that.
Because we want to give our input, we want to be
Right.
heard, and we want to respond. So, like, make people
Mm-hmm.
respond first, connect with you first.
Yeah.
That is the first step. And once you're able to build that relationship, I think two things are really, really important. One thing, if you start pitching your product, they just think that it's just another person selling their stuff. It's really you know repelling, like it puts other people off, because we have been manipulated so many times in our lives and bought the things we've regretted, that we don't want to be a prey to another person hunting us and taking what's precious to us, that money. So we want somebody who cares about what we want, who's asking us the right questions, like even research. When I said that reach out to them with this thing, that I'm researching on this, that just first, as a first step, lets you know whether they're interested in the first place or not in that particular product. If the interest is there, ask more questions, but make it about them, not about you. Because when you are making it about them, then they don't see you as the predator who's hunting them. They see you as a connection, wanting to serve. So reframe that.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a really important thing that you just said. Get a connection, wanting to serve. Like the seller is connection between them and something that they need, a service or a product that they need. So that's how you should be presenting yourself to them. That you are the connection between what they need and them. So it shouldn't be like, well, I have something for you and I can do this and I can, rather than just being the focus.
Like our product is so good, it has this feature, it has that feature, like they don't care. Ask them that what kind of a product are you looking for? Would this feature be helpful to you? Would this, like make it about them, not about you. And also remembering this, that everybody is not your client. So don't try to sell to everyone. Like if you can see a lot of resistance at the other end, just stop. That person might not be ready for your product. If they see that you're sensitive to their resistance, they will be interested. You can just ask them that I can see perhaps this does not resonate with you right now, but could you refer me someone who might be interested in this? That can get you another lead. So it's about getting those leads. And you haven't managed to put this person X off. You haven't been very pushy. So you have to have that element of care. What does the other person want? So if they don't want that, what going to somebody else who might want it. And then also the other person who perhaps might want the thing that you have to offer, be very ethical with them and very upfront. Like if there is some flaw in your product, share it with them. That makes you more authentic. Because or if it's not meeting some need, I will just give you my own example. For instance, we are running these accredited certifications now, and while we are accredited at a certain level, but we're not fully accredited. So I have been very transparent with all the people who signed up. And, couple of them said to me very clearly that, we can get this thing from somewhere else, but it's your honesty that attracted us. So honesty, ethics, they attract people. They might not be your customer right now, but they'll come back, or they will know that this person was selling this and they seemed honest and I want to go back to them. So this is really important, going by ethics.
Right. Because if you're not being honest, if you're not telling them the truth, eventually it will come out. Whatever was lacking, eventually it will come out. If you had told them up front, that will make you look good. And whether they stay or not, it will kind of solidify you as an ethical, honest company and or person, whichever one you're aiming for. And they might still stick with you or come back with you. But if you lose that ground, then you're not getting it back.
That goodwill, that reputation. So that is the most important thing. Building that image of yourself as somebody who because when you state the flaws as well, they think that you really care, and that's making it about them, and
Right.
making see that you do care. So yes, I think this is a foundation. So by the end of it all, it just boils down to good values, like values of being more ethical, values of being more caring towards others. So genuine care, authenticity, all these are basically the foundation. So whoever is in the business of people, no matter what you're selling, service, product, you're in the business of people, and you need to cater to them. And a lot of times I see people making it about them, when it comes to especially customer service. Another area I'd like to highlight, especially in our culture, I've noticed, and there's this group by the name Foodies R Us on Facebook. So I often see people discussing that they were treated rather rudely by the seller. uh, and people will buy from you once, no matter how great your product is. But if you don't make them feel as if they cared for, even afterwards, um, you'll make a sale once, but you won't make it again.
Right.
So retention,
Right.
retention
That
is very important.
that's key, because it's okay to once in a while just have some kind of a, uh fine, one customer, two customer here and there, but you need to keep that up, and you have to have that kind of standard that you maintain, that we have. And a lot of times what happens with us is, and I understand that the whole concept of customer is always right doesn't really work. I get that as well. But at the same time, we have to understand, there's a difference between not doing the whole customer is always right and having empathy for the other person, right? Having that understanding of what they may be feeling or going through, and how we encompass that in the service that we are providing or the product that
Yes.
we're giving. There is a huge difference between that. Sometimes people
Yes.
need extra understanding, extra help, or extra, just kind of, even if they're not so calm or understanding, our calmness or our understanding is important in that moment. So how do we build that in our culture? Like you said, we're lacking. Definitely, we're lacking in that. In every uh, industry, whether it's product selling or customer service. Definitely customer service. How do we build that for the newer, fresh graduates or people who are jumping into their workspaces? How do we build that empathy? How do we build that kind of relationship?
Hmm. So, building empathy, the first, I think, step is to realize that everybody is coming from a context. Like, a lot of times we suppose we're remotely communicating with somebody, maybe a team member of ours, and we get straight to the point, and then we might get a reply which we may not like, or which sounds a bit cold, and we will instantly think that this person, we will judge them, we will think that they're being rude, they're being cold, and blah blah. Well, we need to understand the context people are coming from. Start from, how was your day, how have you been, like just to first get a feel of, maybe they're coming, they might tell you that oh, we had been in an accident, or oh, we were feeling down or something, maybe. And give them that room, that comfort level to reply, the rapport, to be able to be comfortable with you. So I think it's boils down to understanding first, and beginning with, how are you, how was your day,
Right.
to foster empathy. And a lot of times we just miss that. We just start with, hi, so and so, and just down to the question, or down to whatever we have, our agenda is. We just don't stop to ask people, like um, what context they're coming from. And also, one thing I would like to highlight, there's something we're taught in NLP, is that everybody has a different um, map of the world. Like, we're all different. our perception is not the same. What, like, what you may perceive as rude, I may not perceive that as rude. So we have different perceptions. Being mindful of those different perceptions is key in building empathy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, when it comes to empathy,
This is very important.
what I feel like.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to the same thing you're saying, that when you're learning about your target audience, learn about their culture as a whole. Like,
Yeah.
not in terms of just culture, in a country or whatnot, but even a group of people have their own culture on how they
True.
speak and what kind of behaviors are acceptable or not acceptable, and then you start from there and how to behave around them, and what is considered rude and what's not considered rude, and what you can and
Yes.
cannot say. And if
Course.
they're saying something to you, then how will you respond to that, and what you will consider to be okay and not okay. So all of that will
Yes.
of
So,
course
so
contribute.
first is the culture that
Mhm.
is the immediate family, the immediate,
Right.
that's one culture. Then they're part of a bigger culture, maybe, then we're into regions,
Mhm.
national. There's so many levels of cultures as well.
Exactly.
So we have to be mindful of, where they're coming from, like, whatever. So I think making up, like, talking more in questions, like,
Right.
in the form of listening, that is the key to selling. And mastering selling is all about active listening and
Mhm.
asking the right questions.
Right, right. So open-ended questions where you can get, more answers and understand more about your audience. So, what is the
And
go on?
sorry,
No, no,
sorry,
go on,
I was
go on.
going to
Yeah.
quickly add that people often think, like, people who haven't practiced this, they often think it's very counterintuitive. Like, if we're asking them questions, and they think we might not know about our product, and and that we're not really selling to them. So we should be actively selling. What they do not understand is that when you're asking, they're feeling that they're being heard, they're
Mhm.
being cared for, and that is what actually makes the sale. So
Mhm.
it is not counterintuitive. Asking questions does not go against the sale, it goes for you.
Right.
Sorry, I did cut you.
No, no, no.
Please
That's
continue
a
with
very
your question.
important. No, that's a very important point, because that is what people when you're selling the when you are a salesperson, or you are in that position, that is the feeling. And every time you do take the time to talk to them and ask them questions and let them finish, they do feel, because nobody does that. Nobody talks to the customers. Nobody takes the time. That's just not how things work.
Yeah.
So, of course, that's a very important point. So, what is the most important element? We've discussed a few things in sequence, and if something some element is left, you can finish it and then discuss what is the most important element you think that should be focused on uh, when selling.
Yes, so as I shared, active listening, asking the right questions, making it about them, and then knowing your audience. Like,
Mhm.
also, another thing when it comes to selling, I would like to bring in the point of pricing. Like, people price their products just from the top of their heads. Like, they have
Mhm.
no clue whether the same product is, what price it is at in the market. So you have to be aware, do a bit of competitor analysis, a bit of market research. Don't just blindly price your products.
Mhm.
Like, what is the benchmark?
Mhm.
What is it against? Like, if you've made something like, maybe a beautiful dress, and you've priced it at 100,000 because so and so designer sells it
Mhm.
for 100,000. Do keep in mind how long has so and so designer been in the market. Like, don't compare yourself, don't compare apples to oranges. Your competitor is somebody who is at the same level of business, like they started off around the same time as you did, and they probably have the same kind of reach as you do. So your competitor, be realistic about who your competitor is. Like, if you're starting off a clothing brand, you can't compare yourself to Zara, to Hassan
Mhm.
Segar, or all these people. Yes, that might be your ultimate goal, but that cannot be the goal to start off with. You start off with smaller goals. And there's a book I'd really like to recommend by Brian Tracy, that's The Psychology of Selling. And he very rightly points out that when you set sales target, you don't set huge targets. Like, you don't compare yourself to somebody who's been there for 30 years. You set realistic, what is achievable in a year's time or in 6 months' time. Um, and then you go by baby steps, small steps, like your target to begin with. If you're making zero in sales right now, a realistic target would be 1,000, not 100,000. Like, I'm just talking roughly. It depends on your market and the pricing of the product. So, yeah, so that's very subjective. But the thing is, you have to have smaller goals. First, achieve that 1,000, then you can move on to 100,000. But don't have the 100,000 as the goal to begin with, because that is highly demotivating. If you go into the science of selling, big goals which you cannot realistically achieve are very demotivating, because your subconscious knows that that's not true. That might not happen anytime soon. So you have to be honest to yourself, and honest to your subconscious picks on it. And then it is, goals, I always like to say, they can be the biggest motivator and they can be the biggest demotivator as well. If set right, they can motivate you like anything. If not set right, they will just demoralize you, because you can't achieve that and that's not achievable. So this is something I'd really like to point out, that be realistic.
Right. Yeah, that's actually very important, because that's what happens when we get excited about something and we see a prospect and we just want to go for it. And in the beginning, we are being told, "Oh, you're just as good as such and such designer, and you're just as good as so and so," which you might be, but of course, to have that level, that kind of audience and that kind of reach, it takes time. So you have to be, you have to take your time and just kind of pace yourself. So, which one do you think is the most important element of being an effective seller?
I will come to that, but another thing that's just coming to my mind before I forget it is that focus on getting the first 1, 2, 3 clients. Your first sale, again, the science of selling tells you that you make your second sale right after your first sale, because when you make your first sale, you get that confidence boost. And if you go to somebody else, that frequency, that energy that you bring will be different. So focus on getting the first few clients. That should be your focus. Don't focus on getting hundreds of clients and, all that kind of stuff. As I said earlier, a baby step. Focus on the first few clients. When you have them, it will give you the confidence. And then, it's a ball, and it has a snowballing effect, and you will get more and more, but focus on the first. So you asked the question, what is the most important
Element.
aspect?
Yeah, what is the most important element out of all of these that we discussed? Things that to start selling, or to just kind of have a good selling start. All of these things that we discussed. Which one you think is the most important?
So the thing which I think is the most important is something I didn't share before, is the mindset. Is the mindset around selling, because a lot of times we are very hesitant to sell because we don't want to project ourselves. We don't want to seem like those pushy people who are trying to the predators that I mentioned. We don't want to be seen as one of those. We want, so that's one thing which keeps us from selling. But if you're that kind of person who doesn't sell because you feel that you're projecting onto people and maybe they don't want your product or service, ask yourself that if they did not have it, like, would they be missing out on something? If your product has that kind of value that you feel they could benefit from, that should give you that reason to sell, because you're doing something to improve people's lives. Will they be better by wearing that dress? Like, first convince yourself of that narrative. That how are you improving people's life? Once you're convinced of this, it will be so much more easier for you to sell, because you're selling from a point of self belief and belief in your product. You're not selling from that mindset which just tells you the features of the product and is just trying to project onto you. You're selling from a different mindset. You're selling to improve people's lives. So change your mindset around selling. I think that's the foundational step to
Most
believe
important.
in it.
Okay.
Mm.
Let's, there were some questions. Let's start from the beginning, or comment. Let's see. So Sman is saying, I'm studying in a BBA. I'm studying in BBA, but our teacher to even our introduction of business teacher is a housewife. Well, if she's teaching, what's um well, if she's a teacher, then she's a teacher. She has the knowledge. I don't understand what the point of the question is, Usman, because she's a teacher.
I
She not?
I think what probably Usman is asking is that uh, she's teaching this thing, but she's it doesn't have that skill herself. So to answer that, uh, like as you said, a teacher is a teacher, so they're there to teach the theory, not the practicality. That would most probably be a mentor who's actually done that. So that's for us to know that our mentors are the people who have probably experienced that thing. The teachers are teaching the theory. Learn the theory from them, but don't go to advice from them. Like if she's offering advice, which she shouldn't be as a teacher, so don't take that advice because she's not been there. Go to a person who's been there, who's made the sales. So yes, go to a mentor for that. But yes, she might be great in teaching theory, so we can't discount that from her.
So, so yeah, and if you want to learn practically, you can go to Khadija. She's always here to teach you that side of
Yeah.
it. But as far as your teacher is concerned, teaching you the text and theory, you can't discount that. Just um, if she's teaching it, she must have some qualification to be teaching it. And then Musin is asking, kindly tell me about the selling of landscape painting.
Landscape painting.
Yeah.
So well, as I said, all the things that have been mentioned so far in the session, they apply to all kinds of selling, regardless of what your product is, regardless of what your service is. But if you're selling, like one more thing I would like to add is, once you identify your target market, your target audience, ask yourself, where do they hang out? Are they the people hanging out in certain gyms, in certain restaurants, or where are they? And try to go frequent those places more, because that's where you're. So try to make links, connect the dots, and go where your target audience is. So people need multiple touch points before a sale is made. Connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with them on any other social media, try to interact with them, find some common mutual friends perhaps, or just go where they are.
Right.
What you seek is seeking you. Eventually you will find, but you have to be consistent at it. Initially you might not find them very welcoming and so and so, but you have to, that that's what mindset comes in. You have to change your identity to be who you envision yourself to be. Like to be this person, like you're not envisioning yourself most probably as a seller. You're envisioning yourself as a famous artist, maybe famous in South Asia, maybe famous globally. So, whatever you envision yourself, try to ask yourself what would that ultimate version of yourself be doing. So that ultimate version of yourself, build up to that. And this is how, this will motivate you in doing those calls, reaching out to those people, and eventually closing and making the sales as well. So go where these people are, connect with them.
Yeah, hold a little, those coffee talk type things that people meetups that people have. I don't know how that works, but I've seen those.
Podcast, host a podcast.
Right. Or like a one-on-one type at a coffee shop, like take your paintings at at a coffee shop and invite a few people, and then you have walk-ins also who can be there and then talk about your paintings and those kind, like people have
They put up those paintings in such places where your target audience might be. So go where they are.
Exactly, just little things, and if you start thinking, brainstorming, you'll think of more things. These are things that popping in our
You can also use Chat GPT to generate some ideas. You know what's go where
There's
the
so
age of
many-
AI, at the age of knowledge.
there's so many ideas that are going to be out there if you try to explore. Definitely. Okay, so I'm sorry, I keep kicking this thing because it's right under my feet.
I'm sorry, I realized that my camera is a bit slanted.
No, it's
so
fine.
if you're having a bit of OCD, I'm sorry.
Again, no. My thing is like right next to my feet, and I keep kicking it. The positioning is wrong for me. No, yours is fine. It's okay. Okay, so if there are no other questions, we can wrap up because it's 11:04, and I know that you are not, Khadija, not feeling well, and I really appreciate you coming on, even though you were not, doing well. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No worries.
So
Most welcome. And yes, please.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say I appreciate that you came on, even though, you had a slight accident yesterday.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling though now? You're better?
Not better than yesterday, but not too great. But I would love to connect with anybody if they have any questions on selling or later on. So I do offer once a week pro bono sessions as well. If somebody does not, because coaching can be expensive at times. I try to keep it at a different budget for people locally, but I also offer once a week pro bono. So I'm always here to help, always here to support. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm not very active on Insta, but
Okay, so we'll put your LinkedIn and all the, or you can just in the comments put all your information where you're available.
okay, I'll do.
The places that you're most active and where you're available, so that it's easy for everybody to get connected to you.
Thank you so much, Mahvish, for the opportunity and.
No, this is amazing. We actually, because we have a lot of people asking us about these kinds of sessions and this kind of information, and you're the perfect person for this, and we'll definitely have you on again, and keep in touch and talk to you. All right, thank you everybody.
Thank you
for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
All right.
Good morning. Wherever.
Exactly. All right.